Today we're going to learn about points, lines, and planes. But before we do that, let's learn about what the word definition means. So, if you have a definition, and as I'm writing this, make sure you're getting it down. It basically is when you take known words, so things we already know, and you describe a word. So, for example, if you say cat, we have known words in order to describe that, a feline with hair. So, a definition is that. In geometry, you might have some undefined terms. Whoops. Undefined terms don't necessarily have definitions to them. I'm having trouble with this. So examples of undefined terms in geometry are going to be point, because you describe a point as a point, so it's very difficult to describe that with words that we already know. You have lines, and you have planes, and not like the planes that fly in the sky. So let's take a look at what a point is. So a point is represented by this. It's a small dot, and it has no dimension. That means it can be in any plane. We have things called lines, and basically a line, and we'll put our definition down here, a line extends in one dimension. So, whoops, I changed the ink. Let me go up here, change it back. Got it. Okay, so basically it extends in one dimension. Then you have planes. And a plane is basically represented by, it's like a tabletop. So you're going to have a line like this, line like that, line like that, and you're going to come across here. And this is what we consider a plane. And a plane goes into two dimensions. So a plane goes into two dimensions. And you can have dots on that plane, and the dots are actually representations of points. So we would put point A, point B. So those are in a plane. And let's go back to that line. When you have a line, it's going to look something like this. This is how we represent it, and I know in algebra we did work with this. So you have arrows on the end, and the arrows mean that they extend infinitely. They keep going. And in geometry, you're going to have points to label these so that you can identify them. So you have point A and point B on the line. So that's what a point, a line, and a plane is. But now let's look at what collinear points are and coplanar points are. So, collinear points, you see a word in there. And I immediately see it, and it is line. So these are points that are on the same, goodness gracious, this thing will not. Okay, these are points on the same line. Then you're going to have coplanar points. So I think you could tell from the word now what those points are all about. I don't know why that color thing's coming up, but I apologize. Let me change it. Okay. So coplanar points have the word plane in them. So they are points on the same plane. So if you go up here, let's say we have a line with the arrows, and we have points A and B. We would call those collinear points because they're on the same point, or on the same line. Let's say we have a plane, though, remember, which is represented by kind of a tabletop shape. And you have a point here, you have a point there, and a point there. So you have point A, B, and C, and those are all coplanar points. So if I were to ask you on this picture, what are coplanar points, you would be listing A, B, and C. Let's look at how you write things in geometry. So when we're dealing with planes and points and lines, we want to be able to label them. So I'm going to show you a little chart. So you're going to say geo for the geometric figure. Written, how do you write it out? Because in geometry you're going to be explaining what you know, so you have to write it out. And then how do you say it? So in class, if I'm asking you something, you'll be able to use the correct terminology or words. So we have geo, written, verbal. And let's look at a line. So we'll draw our little line. Remember the arrows? Arrows go on the ends. And we have point A and point B. We won't always have A and B, but I'm just using those because they're the first letters in the alphabet. If you're writing it, you just want to put a little line with the arrows on the end and write A and B under it. But to say it, you're going to say line A, B. And that's how you write a line and how you say a line. Let's say you have a line segment, which a segment doesn't go on forever, it ends. So we have these 2 points, we have A and B. And the way you write it is you just put a line and put your AB. And if you were to say it out loud, you would say segment, segment, I apologize, AB. So that's how you would do a line segment. And the points on the end here, that A and then that B, they're called the endpoints. So you would say endpoint A, endpoint B. And now let's look at array. So array has a beginning, but it extends infinitely. And you're going to start with point A, and you're going to go to point B. And the way you write that is you have your array with an arrow, and then you have your AB. So verbally, you're going to say ray A, B. So that's how you write and say those terms. And then if you have a plane, we're really not going to be writing a symbol for that. You just say plane M or plane Z, whatever they're going to label it. The one last thing I wanted to talk to you about was intersection. So in algebra, we talked about intersection. And basically, remember, intersection just means when things come together and they cross. So there's different kinds of intersection. There in geometry, there's going to be line intersection. So let's say you have a line going this way and a line going that way. So they intersect. And it changed the color. So let's go up and change the color. Okay. So they're going to intersect at one point, which is right there. Then you could have a plane, which is at tabletop again, and you could have a line intersecting it, so it's coming through there, down this way. And that would only intersect at that one point right there. Then you could have a plane intersect with another plane, and that's a little tricky to draw, especially on this. And so what's going to happen with that is it's going to intersect at many, many infinitely points right there. Tons of points. So just keep going and going and going. So this is our lesson on points, lines, and planes. It's basically vocabulary, so be prepared tomorrow to come in and we will do the lesson that matches with it. Thank you.